We're going to find out soon enough that it is centralized, that a lot of the coins were pre-mined, that Ripple has a consistent and abhorrent business model of dumping all their millions of coins onto retail and watching their founders and their holders get rich while the XRP army goes out and continues to tout the benefits of the system. And the second side of that's interesting is XRP and Ripple is considered the crypto banking for crypto, or crypto for banking. They're focused on payments for big banks. So the idea that it's a central, decentralized system, open, permissionless, immutable, censorship resistant, all that sort of stuff, but they're focusing on banks is like, I think that there's a minor contradiction in there. Buenas tardes, and welcome to another episode of Chainspotting, where every week I read and review the top stories that are going on in Bitcoin media, crypto media, fusion of those two media, financial media, and the media, money media. This week we're going to be talking about the classic infighting that happens inside the crypto scene. Not without warrant. Like there's infighting that's happening right now that should be happening because there's a bad actor group called Ripple doing bad actor stuff, and Bitcoin maxis, or just people in crypto in general, are pointing it out that they're not good, they don't have good intentions, all they want to do is get richer off the government this time and do business as always, as we're going to find out below. Before we carry on though, please remember, if this is your first time listening, it's a good time to hit subscribe, like, comment, and share if you want. If you're a repeat audience member, thank you so much. It's good to see you again, kind of, because this is a one-way street. I don't really actually see you. Why haven't you subscribed if you haven't? Why haven't you liked if you haven't? Why haven't you commented if you haven't? And why haven't you shared? As my saintly mother says, libertad esquina independencia. So live at the corner of freedom and independence. But still, you can always give us a subscribe, a like, a comment, all that sort of stuff. Anyways, this is an article by Protos. So once again, we don't have a byline here. We just have Protos staff. And its titles, Bitcoiners Attack Ripple After Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Flop. Before we carry on, a strategic reserve asset is an asset that companies or countries will hold in case of a crisis or if something goes down. Gold, for example, oil used to be a strategic asset. Now Bitcoin is getting tossed out into the zeitgeist as the potential to be a strategic asset. Why are they calling it a flop? We're going to soon find out. But yeah, there's conversations. Trump, there's a lot of people pushing for a U.S. strategic Bitcoin reserve. I don't think it's coming anytime soon. Fun fact, actually, Cynthia Lummis, who is the senator out of Wyoming, who has been pushing for the Bitcoin strategic reserve, had put forward 31 bills during the previous congressional session. Of those 31 bills, just 2 didn't have co-signers, so nobody agreed with it, at least to the degree that they were okay with explicitly supporting it. And one of those 2 was a strategic Bitcoin reserve. So at least, despite what a lot of the talking heads in Bitcoin are telling you, she has no support for it whatsoever. So keep that in mind. Anyways, let's get into it. Following Ripple's successful political activism via Fairshake and its other Washington, D.C. lobbying efforts, its critics are reinvigorated after it scored a victory in Donald Trump's executive order that deprioritized Bitcoin and emphasized stablecoins like Ripple USD. Bitcoiners have focused their vitriol on the billionaire-led company for allegedly derailing plans for U.S. National Strategic Bitcoin Reserve. It's a mouthful. A lot of this is coming because voices are coming out saying that that Ripple executives, Brad Garlinghouse, especially, is whispering in Donald Trump's ears sweet nothings as in hold nothing regarding Bitcoin and only hold my shitty fucking shitcoin. Leading the attack is Riot Platform's Pierre Rochard, a Bitcoin maximalist. Leading the defense is Ripple CTO David Schwartz, who has fired back against Rochard's claims that the XRP ledger blockchain is centralized. We're going to find out soon enough that it is centralized, that a lot of the coins were pre-mined, that Ripple has a consistent and abhorrent business model of dumping all their millions of coins onto retail and watching their founders and their holders get rich while the XRP army goes out and continues to tout the benefits of the system. And the second side of that's interesting is XRP and Ripple is considered the crypto banking for crypto, or crypto for banking. They're focused on payments for big banks. So the idea that it's a central decentralized system, open, permissionless, immutable, censorship resistant, all that sort of stuff, but they're focusing on banks is like, I think that there's a minor contradiction in there, but yeah, I mean, you got to go out and you got to sell they're just snakes oil salesmen, second-hand car salesman. Yeah, took me a second. Behind Rochard and Schwartz is thousands of the community supporters rallying support for their causes, each on side of the battlefield, digital in this case, Twitter mostly, claiming one has the truth over the other. For example, Rochard retweeted a thread describing XRPL as being centrally administered by Ripple Labs. The thread highlights a legal notice from Ripple asserting that it and its logos are trademark. Rochard went on to make the case that XRP is a differentiated product like Kleenex or Evian, not a commodity like cotton or water. Schwartz tried to claim that any theoretical trademark on XRP, the native coin of the XRP ledger, would not be easy to enforce, but it would be enforceable apparently. He also claimed that Ripple does not compensate validators. Rochard claims that Ripple still has outsized control over the XRP ledger, including reserving the right to determine which chain would maintain the XRP ticker symbol if a contentious hard fork were to occur. Ripple Labs also doesn't permit anyone to use its trademarked materials. So already we're starting to see that it's quite centralized, it's quite gated, it's quite controlled and monopolized by the Ripple company, which is fine in and of itself. But if they go out and say we're decentralized, we're in it for the tech and this is crypto and this and that. But yeah, you've got this small group of people that have the outsized control and they can determine what happens and where it goes. I think you're not entirely truthful. Although anyone may run an XRP validator, so for those listening, a validator is essentially the computers or the software that make sure that the transactions are correct. Or that when there's a block that's proposed, the validator makes sure that the block is correct. So they're quite important. Although anyone may run an XRP validator, they have to be included on the unique node lists, UNLs, maintained by Ripple and entities with financial ties to Ripple to have influence in the practical validation of XRP ledger transactions. Sounds decentralized. According to Rochard, this casts Schwartz's claims that XRPL is decentralized into doubt since Ripple and associated parties can change the UNLs or refuse to add a new validator. Rochard called this power a massive conflict of interest, and I fundamentally agree with Rochard. Here's when things get even dicier. For its initial coin offering, so when they first started selling their shitcoin to the public, Ripple co-founders pre-mined 100 billion coins. So there's two ways of creating crypto, or there's a number of ways, but mining or pre-mining is essentially you create a huge amount of these and you hand it off to the select few people that you want to get rich before the rest of the people, or that you want to get rich through the rest of the people that buy their coin afterwards. The other is just mining, like general mining, where anybody can come in and can participate openly and nobody has any fundamental or outsized control over the mining, like Bitcoin, for example. Very different from Ripple. pre-mined 100 billion coins and allocated more than half to a small group of insiders and entities that they led. Today, Ripple insiders continue to control or lead a large percentage of the XRP supply. Sweet. Remember, this is what they want for the government to buy. We're going to find out what they want for the government from the government. Unlike the Bitcoin community, Ripple has pushed for stable coins like its RLUSD and even its Ripple CBDC platform for non-USD fiat stablecoins. Ripple's USD stablecoin RLUSD launched last month and hasn't increased in size for weeks, hence why Garling House is whispering. As of publication time, its market capitalization hasn't increased from its 73 million since CoinGecko started tracking it on December 23rd, 2024. For context, RLUSD is less than 0.04% of the stablecoin market. The animosity between Bitcoin maximalists and Ripple is famous, and the duel between Richard and Schwartz is just the latest episode in a long history of fight between the two camps. Ripple co-founder Chris Larsen personally paid millions of dollars for a Change the Code media campaign that attacked Bitcoin's implementation of proof of work. Yeah, so where do we start? I'm going to start at Pierre Richard's quote that said something quite interesting. This is the Ripple business model. 1. Incentivize banks to put their brand in a press release. 2. Hype up the press release so that the price goes up, and then dump XRP on retail. So sell XRP on retail investors who are buying because they think that XRP is going to go up because of this new partnership. 3. Banks don't actually use their tech. And why do they say that? It's because Leo Schwartz, the CTO of Ripple, he's actually saying in a video that banks are monoliths, they're glacial, they take ages to make any decision, and that's why they don't actually work with them. So it's important to keep that in mind when the CTO actually comes out and says that banks aren't actually using them. Then you've got the second issue, which is Chris Larsen, who's another Ripple co-founder, and Ripple just executives probably in general. They launched a massive smear campaign against Bitcoin environmental mining, only to push their shitcoin into the market. So yeah, keep that in mind. Now, I'm going to now read as much as I can, or I'll try to do a skim of something that Nick Carter, Castle Island Ventures, one of the great Bitcoiners of our age. People hate him now because he allegedly went shitcoin, but he was always crypto agnostic. I don't know why you guys started hating on him before. This is from 2020. There's absolutely no comparing XRP with Bitcoin. It's not cheaper than Bitcoin. It's not more energy efficient. It's not more energy efficient because it's not remotely in the same category. The same way you can't compare an Excel doc on my laptop with Bitcoin. It's just a category error to compare the two. XRP isn't a cryptocurrency. It's not meaningful, decentralized. It's literally a token on a DB maintained by a single entity. I'm going to say DB distributed database, sorry. Plus some unconvincing decentralization theater. Yeah, it's a lot of theater. It's equivalent to an IOU on my Starbucks app, except worse, because I can't even redeem it for coffee. Its claimed and only use case as a bridge currency for remittances was made completely redundant and invalid when people actually adopted stablecoins for that use case. No one wants to use a volatile, illiquid, thinly traded asset as a bridge currency. No one. It has no use case. The only use case is lowering the cost of capital for Ripple Labs so they could bribe other firms to engage in phony, empty partnerships to juice the XRP unit price and excite the retail investors that own the token. Everyone knows this. The only way to break this feedback loop is to force the issuing entity to be accountable. Ideally hope the SEC sees through the smokescreen and perceives XRP for what it is, a shallow fraud. It's time to put an end to this madness, a total blight on the industry. An embarrassment. That is fundamentally the best takedown of Ripple and XRP on this website I've ever seen. I fundamentally and unilaterally and 100% agree with Nick Carter. And I don't think I have anything else to say after that because he says it perfectly. But what do you think? I'm sure there's a couple XRP sergeants, generals, privates, frontliners, backliners who are probably listening to this and their heads are probably getting ready to explode that I'm interested in your comments. So please leave them below. Subscribe, give us a like, choose your news. Remember, you can send me the news that you want me to read and review and give my general analysis to. So, yeah, there's a schism happening. It'll continue to happen. Exciting times are upon us. Catch you next week.